Welcome to the Just Be a Man podcast. Please note, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Each individual is providing their own independent opinion. Follow, like, subscribe, and comment at Just Be a Man 2020 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. Also, expect new content every Wednesday on Spreaker.com or your favorite podcast app.
Hello, everybody. It's your boy Mike T, and this is a segment of Just Be a Man 2020. Today is Thursday, June 25th. I'm here with the J-Bam crew. I got my man Chaz, I got Chuck, I got Stefan Wayne, and of course, myself. Tonight's topic is, what makes a woman unattractive? And I'm just going to open it up. Fellas, what do you think? What makes a woman unattractive? Is it the physical? Is it the emotional? Is it psychological? Let me know.
I'll go first.
Go first, Wayne. Let the rhythm hit him.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things, right? So first, I just want to put out there that I think the first thing that dudes, I think most people, they're attracted to the outward appearance, right? Before you hear the first word, before you know anything about the person. So the physical matters, right? So when we're talking about unattractive, we're really talking about once you see someone that you think is attractive, and then they do something to change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Right.
So what I think it is, for me, I think, if you're dealing with somebody who talks reckless, right? Someone who's always talking slick and trying to, I don't know, acting out of character, right? Where they try to, they angry, or they got, controlling, jealous, things like that where they got these attitude challenges or issues where you're like, whoa, that's not what I was looking for.
Right.
Yeah, that's big.
So that's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Okay. All right. Anybody else jump in?
I mean, I'll chime in real quick. Wayne touched on it. Men have a tendency to, be visual. And the first thing that captures our attention or doesn't is how she looks physically. And a woman that completely lets herself go, to me, is just a tremendous turnoff.
Okay.
Hair not done, hands, feet jacked up, outfits looking crazy. If she's making it obvious that she doesn't care about herself,
Right.
then that is something that is just a complete turnoff for me.
Okay.
Granted, yeah, bad attitudes, a complaining spirit, all those things are a part of it as well. Because one of the things that I can't stand in a woman is, just bad character,
Okay.
loud, over the top. I don't want to be with an individual that embarrasses me.
All right.
And when I have a situation like that, and I witness it out in public, I literally cringe for some of these guys for having to deal with that, in their lives. I mean, there's a major difference between being a strong woman and, being just completely over the top.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think there's an opportunity for a woman to be strong and classy at the same time.
Okay. I feel that. I can feel that. What about you, Chuck?
Oh man, smoking.
We know. Well, you've been married 30 years, and I know you got a deep.
Yeah. I wasn't even gonna touch that, but just some of the obvious stuff for me, man.
Right.
Some of the smoking, excessive cursing, excessive cursing like a sailor, just no coof in public, home training. To me, it's just the basics, and the way you carry yourself, in public is to me important. I mean, especially if you have kids.
Right.
What kind of example are you setting for your kids?
Right.
So, that's just the way I tend to think. I mean, I'm not getting into anybody's background and how they're raised and stuff like that. I just think it's common sense to me when you're out in public, just common courtesy out in public. Govern yourself accordingly. And unfortunately, times are getting rough, brother. I mean, it's hard for people to even say hello to each other nowadays.
Yes, sir. That's definite.
So,
what about you, Steph Lover?
I tell you, the first thing that makes a woman unattractive, if she's willing to walk out of the house with a bonnet on, Oh my God.
With a what? With
A
a what?
bonnet.
Yeah.
What's a
A
bonnet?
bonnet.
With the
Not the
rollers.
head rag.
What's a
Yeah.
bonnet?
Basically, it's a plastic thing to use to protect the hair.
You
And
know,
if you,
like a shower cap.
Oh. Is that a
yeah,
okay? That's a what? It's
yeah.
called a shower.
Um,
Is that a shower cover or something like a shower?
it's like
Cap?
a shower. It's like a
It's a
shower
bad
cap,
look.
but
Come on, man.
it's normally cloth or silk.
Oh, that's a
Yes.
scarf. Then you talking about a scarf?
No,
Well, we
Mike,
call it
Mike,
a
Mike,
scarf
Mike,
up here in Connecticut.
Mike. Google a bonnet. It's a
Huh?
difference. Trust me, because it has elastic around it.
I know some ice
Yeah.
cream. The name is Bonnet Ice Cream.
Oh Lord, have mercy. Anyway, only Mike. But anyway, yeah, if you're willing to walk out the house with a bonnet on and fuzzy slippers, and
Oh
and
man.
you're willing to go into Walmart, I've already counseled you in my book.
Well,
So
Wow.
my thing
yeah,
is
so
kind of like, well, my thing. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what's unattractive for me, and that's first of all, what I've been raised is manners. I've been raised by a single mom, but I also had, I was also in a family where a lot of people had, three sisters, and you learned a lot from them also. So manners is very important. But also insecurity, some insecurity, but not too much insecurity. But my thing is getting back to your question, Steph. If somebody comes out the house like that, is that a self-esteem thing? Are they trying to ward people off?
no, a lot of times they just don't give a damn.
Okay.
It's a matter of I'm comfortable. No one says anything. No one
Right.
checks me, and I'm just going to do what I want to do. And it's a sad commentary, but and I see it, and I see it
Oh,
not around here in the DMV, but more down south. A lot of our sisters will roll up in the Piggly Wiggly or the Walmart with
right,
a
right,
bonnet
right.
and flip
Not the
flops.
Piggly
My
Wiggly.
Yes,
man said
yes.
the piggly wiggly.
Hey,
Okay, I thought it was just me.
But if there's one place you could wear a bonnet, it's the Piggly
I was
Wiggly.
gonna
No doubt, no doubt.
this is true.
I agree
This
100.
is true.
percent
I don't mind a scarf. Matter of fact, a scarf is fine. Back on the yard, back in the day, you knew when a sister was having a bad hair day because she had a scarf on.
Okay, all right.
You
Well,
know?
the thing about it
Yeah,
is, I
that's
understand.
really a big deal for you. That's really a
Huh?
big deal for you. Covering the head.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Okay.
I'm just, what?
Hilarious.
Moving on.
Hilarious.
Anyway, moving on. All right. So between the outwardly look, I mean, do, do you think it has a lot to do more with internally? Like I said, once again, the self-esteem thing. What do you think, Chuck?
Hey, well, man, let me go back 30 years. I got to. All right. What was most important to me at the time when I was looking was uh, you got to have something on your mind. If I can't have a conversation with you for more than 5 minutes, I just, it's one thing. You can be attractive all day, but beauty fades. I need to be able to have a conversation with you. So I'm one of these brothers. Beauty's only skin deep. So after you get through the attraction, hey, good looking, okay, we're mutually attracted to each other, and then you sit down, you have that conversation, and you're talking about the sky is blue, and she's talking about the sky is purple. Wow, and so that's and I would think that's with anybody. You're trying to meet somebody, you got to be able to have a conversation. So if you can, for me, that's another turn off, man. If you can't have a conversation, come on. Nah,
Okay.
I'm out.
All right. Well, listen. My thing is, they put all this stuff on the TV, the movies, the commercials, and even the song. Oh, she's a brick house. She's mighty, mighty, letting it all hang out. But what happened?
Can you give us the measurements, Mike? Can you give
Listen,
us some measurements?
36, 24, 36. What
What
happened?
a
What
winning
happened?
hand.
She got all that going on. What happened? She got all that going on, and she leaned into your car, and her breath smelled like hot bologna. Then what? Then what's gonna happen?
Hey, look,
Yeah.
you
How
asked
do you get out
politely
of
to
that?
take 2 steps back and you pull the hell off.
Yeah.
With the mask on. Hot bologna with the mask on. Damn.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
It's-
But see, I think the thing that's funny is that in order to determine that someone's unattractive, right? Well, most of the times you have to be attracted to them first, right? Because we're talking about things that are outside of their looks, which is what we're first seeing. So I mean, there's a number of things. There's a number of things that come into play with that. So Chuck brought up the communication. So maybe this person can hold a conversation, but maybe they keep talking about their past relationships and how this person did this and this person did that and da 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 da, which is cool. But if all those things were so good, what happened to them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, I don't need to hear this story multiple times.
Okay. All
That
right. What do you think,
things
Charles?
like that.
No, I mean, I can agree with that. Absolutely. I think a lot of it again boils down to the visual, but again, when a woman opens her mouth, there needs to be some substance behind it. And part of the problem that I have is a lot of these shows that these women are watching on TV. And I'll just put them out there, these housewife shows,
Yes.
for example, there are some relatively attractive women that are a part of these shows that participate on them as these reality stars. But as soon as they open their mouth, man, whatever attractiveness that they had on the surface, to me, it
Gone.
has a tendency, yeah, it's gone. It goes out the window, man,
Ratchet.
because that's not the type of woman that I want to have in my life. And unfortunately, I have a daughter, man. I have, 17-year-old daughter, and I
Yeah.
don't want her, holding up that image and thinking that that's the way that she's supposed to be. So we have conversations all the time about, inner beauty, and she's 17 years old, so she's focusing a lot on her outer appearance. And, she has to be made up a certain way, when she goes out and all that. I get it. But the thing that I try to emphasize to her and with her the most is the fact that she really needs to put even greater focus on her inner beauty, how she presents herself. And
Mhm.
that, I'm sorry, that housewife image, that's not it.
No.
That's
No.
not what I want her to
No,
I
be.
agree with
that's for
that. I agree
sure.
Yeah.
with that.
But what do you? A lot of you fellas here. Most of us are stand upright guys and you know um ambitious. What do you think about drive? Like if you find a woman that doesn't have drive, is that a turnoff, or can you deal with it?
Absolutely.
Hey, well, you know what? Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, a woman that does not have drive, to me, it would be a turn off. I mean, in this is 2020, man. If you are not trying to, I mean, it's a two income household nowadays. There's no sitting home chilling, relaxing anymore. No, I mean, I'll never. I call me old school. I come from a background where my mom worked, sisters worked. Empowerment. Women empowerment. Women's lib, all that. So I mean, I was kind of raised under that umbrella. So I've always been around strong women. That's all I really know. So I am kind of jaded. So when I see
Right.
a woman who says, I just want to, I don't want to work. I want to chill. I want to have fun. I want to go out. That's not how life works now. It's
Right.
just not. And now don't get me wrong. If that's the agreement that maybe you have with your spouse, and he goes out, he works, he's the breadwinner, and you stay home, and you don't have to worry about a career, and you just maintain the home and raise the kids and all that. If that's your old school values and that's the way you were raised, and that's the agreement again between you and your spouse, great. And if you're financially able to do that in 2020, absolutely fantastic. But to just come out the gate and say, nah, I'm just gonna, nah, I have no respect for anybody, male or female, that just doesn't want to, make their own way. Because, from a woman's perspective, if you get with a man, let's say, and he's the breadwinner and that's all you expect, and God forbid something happens, then what do you have to fall back on?
Right.
And that's what I preach to my daughters. I preach independence to my daughters. I've taught my kids how to, the whole tires and oil changes and all that stuff. And I've taught them just to be independent in other areas, business. and all that. Because unfortunately, we're still in the era where women aren't supposed to be on the same level as men, and I reject that. I have girls. I know how strong my girls are, and I want them to have everything that they got coming to them that they've earned. So yeah, man, I don't have any time for a woman that just wants to sit back and just now. Well, I'll leave it there. I'll let somebody else jump in because I can talk about that all day, man. I just work is my thing, and I there's just too much of a reward, you know, from putting in the time and effort to accomplish something on your own.
Okay. Now, what do you think about what he just said?
Actually, he basically described the diary of a mad black woman. Because she was allowing the male character to work, and he was a breadwinner and all that good stuff. And then he basically wanted a divorce. He was cheating on her a whole bit. And that's not what we want. We want strong women that contribute to in society. Or at least that's what I want. That is. It doesn't have to be a pillar of society, but contributes to society either through work or church or family or whatever. I tell you what made it was unattractive to me today. We went to a restaurant up in Laurel. Won't name the restaurant, but the food was good, extremely good. And while we're sitting there, I'm apprehensive. We're still in the stage of COVID, and I was apprehensive being in there. Almost kicked in my PTSD. Um,
Oh, shit.
but there was this lady at the bar, and she just was loud and cussed like a sailor. And it's like, is this necessary? One, you don't have a mask on, and you're 20 feet away from me. But at the same time, I'm not sure if you're spreading on disease. So she automatically counseled herself out as being unattractive to me.
Mm, mm. Okay. All right. What about you, Wayne?
Well, I was going to say something based on what Chuck was mentioning. So I just wanted to say, from my perspective, I think goal oriented and independence aren't necessarily the same thing. I think that independence means that, if a person, if the primary breadwinner can't win that bread, someone can help out with that. So that's what I think of as independent, meaning that they got their own financial stability. But I think goal oriented, you don't necessarily have to make a ton of money to be goal oriented. You can still do things that are contributing, right? And so, like, even if you're that stay at home mom, you can still do some stuff that's really valuable. Let me back up. I'm not saying that stay at home moms is not a valuable thing, but what I'm saying is you can do things that are goal oriented. Like, you have a schedule, you have a plan, you have a plan for your entire family of how things are going to work. So I just wanted to kind of separate the two of the independence from the goal oriented. That's all I was saying.
Okay. I would say I was going to ask also. I know we're talking about what makes different women attractive. I know I said manners, whatever, but what about what's going on right now? What about a female, and it's any female that lacks self awareness about what's going on? What do you guys feel about that? Can that be a turnoff?
Man,
Yep.
excuse me, I'm sorry. On a lot of these different social media sites, man. So I see a lot of different stuff.
Were you choking
And
on Pringles? Okay.
yeah, man. I'm sorry. I tried to get it down, but I wanted to
Pringles.
really jump in here on this.
Okay.
Um, but I've seen a lot of these different, like TikTok. TikTok is different because it's not necessarily people just posting, screenshots of words and stuff. It's mostly videos, people. But now, in these videos, people are starting to express themselves and say all kinds of stuff. And you know, I've seen some really black women really dogging like the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that. And
Really?
it was, yeah, and it was,
Okay.
now you would think that a lot of these women that I've seen were conservatives, and some were, but the majority of them they were black conservatives. But the other ones were just I don't. I guess they're not politically aware, obviously, but. Of course, all they can see is people out there looting and stuff like that. But just the ignorance that was coming out of their mouths,
Right.
not being informed, not even knowing why the protesters were protesting,
Right.
like some of the white media focusing on the looting and not on why people were all that. And to hear a black woman that's not in tune, especially a black woman that has young black male children, to be so ignorant and out of tune with what's going on right now is just probably one of the most unattractive things I could ever, imagine. I mean, you have a young black male. I mean, you're his mother. You need to be an advocate for that child. But
Okay.
to believe that what's happening isn't happening, and to regurgitate that as fact is just it's that is the to me those individuals in that moment became some of the ugliest people I have ever seen in my life. So that's just it for me.
Okay. Well, no, I get that. From the political standpoint, I get that. I understand that part. But let's change gears on that. What about cleanliness? How many times have y'all counted on your hand or whatever where you met someone and everything looks all gravy at the wherever you met them, at the store, at church, or wherever, the club, whatever, back in the day, and you go to their house and their house is unkept? Is that a complete turn off? Does that make them unattractive? Steph, what
It's
do
a
you think?
it's a reflection of who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very unattractive, but we've all been there, and sometimes we give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, maybe they slipped up, they haven't had company in a while,
Man,
um, you know,
Okay,
but
let's clarify that.
no,
We
no,
gave
no,
the benefit
hell
of the
no.
doubt if you was trying to get some.
Listen,
That's the
listen,
only time you gave a benefit of the doubt
listen.
if you was trying to get some.
Hey, Steph, I
ultimately
appreciate
that
you
was the
giving them.
goal.
Listen, all I'm
Ultimately,
saying,
that was the
Steph,
goal.
I appreciate you giving them benefit of the doubt, but if you don't take the duct tape down with the roaches on it, come on, man. Like, you know I was coming over. So you got the duct tape still up with the dead
Or,
roaches up there. You can't put no fresh duct tape,
Girl,
or the
you know
or
what
fly,
I'm
you can't
talking
like,
or the fly trap
yeah,
that
yo,
that used to hang.
yo, come on, man.
Yeah,
Hey, not trying to come at nobody because I had issues with little creatures too, and I had to come up my own ways of killing them. But if I know somebody coming over, I'm giving a good spray. I'm giving a good spray the night before, at least 24 hours notice. I got the fan in the window, taking out the fumes. I'm doing
That's
it.
the least you could do.
But my thing is that don't have me come over. The house is unkempt. You got dishes, dirty dishes. It smell like bad collard greens. And nah, I can't do it. That'll turn me off. I don't care if you're a 10. And like Steph said, he'll give me a benefit of the doubt, for some boom, boom, But I mean, other than that, it is what it is.
Hey, but also,
What about you, Charles? What do you think, Charles?
no, I'm just saying it also says something about their character because think about it, man. A lot of people present well out in public. You
Right.
got the hair done, you got, the designer this, the designer that, the makeup, etc. And then you get home and the house is nasty. I mean, come on
Right.
now.
Right.
I think that says a lot about their character as well.
And
So
priorities.
yeah, and priorities, exactly, man. So all this stuff has to line up. And if it doesn't, then to me, it's a red flag. And brothers, you need to run in the opposite direction. Period.
Yeah. Well, listen. Just from my standpoint, any type of brother, from all parts of the rainbow, brothers run because I've seen it from all different sides of the spectrum. So so just in case we get people listening and thinking, yo, it's a bunch of brothers talking. No, this goes across the board because of my life experience of being an international lover, ladies. Well, not anymore because I'm married, but I was an international lover back in the day, and I just want to say I've met a few young ladies, and come to find out, it wasn't what it was all about when I got to the crib, and the duct tape was still in effect. Drop the mic.
Yeah. Yo, Mike, I think Steph has something.
Oh, go ahead, Steph Lover.
yeah. How about health? How about health issues too?
Yeah,
For example, you start kissing on her and you smell something that just don't smell right.
no,
Because I remember someone on this podcast had somebody in their dorm room one time,
Wow.
and yeah, and when the female left the room, yeah, yeah, the the dorm smelled a little fishy,
and
and
you know what I thought was
Come
even
on.
weirder, Steph, is that even though the dorm smelled fishy, people kept coming in smelling.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Listen, they kept coming in the room going, damn, and they run down the hall, and they come all the way back and smell again. Damn, I'm like, wait a minute.
I swear, I'll never forget that. And I was one of them that walked in there like, damn.
Yeah, that was pretty foul. That was
What
pretty
I'm
foul
saying-
right there.
Hilarious.
All I'm saying is, you know, I don't know what happened to that dude. I hope he's doing all right. The girl, I hope he, you know.
I am shocked and appalled.
Listen, I hope the girl took a trip to Summer's Eve. You know, that was an island back in the day. So, I hope she stopped off at Summer Eve's Island and had a margarita or two and got her something.
Oh my God. Oh man.
But thank you for bringing it up, Steph. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, but let me throw a question out there, right? Because a lot of women out there trying to do things to attract us, right? So they have the fake hair, the fake behinds, they have, you know, the super elongated eyelashes. I mean, all that stuff is going on right now, right? It seems to be in vogue. So my question to you guys is, you know, what are your thoughts on that stuff? I mean,
we hate that shit.
But you know what though?
We hate fake hair. We hate fake nails. We hate fake butts. I mean, look, if you try to do that stuff for us, don't fake it, because at some point we gonna find out it's fake. We gotta go home. The objective for a young man is to smash. So you trying to entice him with all the fakery, but then when you get home and he starts peeling off wigs, he starts peeling off eyelashes, he starts popping out the falsies in the boobs, he takes off the panties with the pads and all that. Why stop faking? We don't like that stuff, ladies. So I'm just look, keep it real. And if you want to keep it real, let it start with your hair. Keep it real. Yeah. I'm done.
Well, I just want to chime in on this because I had my feelings hurt a few times. Whoever came up with that invention, the body shaper, I think they should die. The reason why I say that, because you know, all I know is that whether I was at the hotel or whether I was at their spot, you know, everything's all gravy and good. You know, you clinking drinks, you sharing drinks, you doing the French drink thing. You know, you wrapping your wrist around her wrist, you drinking, and then all of a sudden it's time for the percolator. So now you percolating, you got Levert playing in the background, and then she decided to take off her clothes, and then all of a sudden she gets to the body shaper, and then she clicked the strap on the body shaper and almost hit you in your eye because there's so much tension. I was highly upset about that.
And it all just came pouring out.
Listen, there's been a few times where I had to go back and get something out my trunk, and all you heard was I was out.
Hey, let me tell you something. True story. A friend of mine, I went to his wedding a couple of years ago, right? He was dating this female that was always made up. I mean, like you never saw her without the makeup. And he apparently had never seen her without the makeup.
What?
Hell no.
Until sometime after they got married. So, bro, let me tell you.
You got catfish. After they got married?
Oh. After they got married, he saw her without makeup for the first time, bro. Mm-hmm. They were divorced 7 months later. He was still paying for that wedding.
Damn.
Like 2 years later, after they got divorced after 7 months, man, because of the fakeness.
But what took him so long? 7 months.
I can't get that one. That's his damn fault.
Yeah,
I do not know.
But it's kind of like with this whole virus thing, right? And so when everybody's forced to stay at home, they don't get the opportunities to get done up or get their wigs or whatever it is that they do. And so, you know, dudes, yeah, they seeing this chick for the first time, kind of, right? Yeah.
But you know what? If to me, if some of these women would just really tell the truth, show your real hair, your real complexion, your real eyes, eyelashes, the whole 9 yards, you'd be surprised.
Right.
Some of these dudes.
But Chuck, I think though, But I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But I think that's our age group.
Well, no, I agree.
I can't really.
I agree. Things have
Speak for
changed.
these young cats.
No, things have changed because look, when I was in the police academy, and this was a gazillion years ago, my then fiance came down. I'm sorry, no, my wife. She was Marvin. I'm sorry, duh. And so we went to a club while we were down there, and I was trying to explain to her this was in Jacksonville, Florida, and I said, look, everybody down here dresses like a loop video. And she's nah, I'm telling you. So we went out that night. Sure enough, I mean, they came in with blue hair with yarn, stitched in it and stuff like that, and they're all dressed. Now that was the club, and she's like, "Well, that's just the club." The next morning, excuse me, we went out in the mall, and same dress, same attire, and I said, the point I was trying to drive home to her was that the kids are being influenced by what they see in the music videos and stuff like that. They're dressing like the women are dressing like the video vixens, and the guys are dressing like the rappers who are dressing like or acting like wannabe thugs. And so you got these suburban kids sagging and trying to look, thuggish because they're mirroring what they see in these videos. And so, yeah, to your point, I agree with you. This generation is, they're very visual and they emulate and mimic the stuff that they see on TV and all that. And but it's not, it's just not, it's fake. It's a facade. These women they're getting their hair professionally done and colored and styled and all that stuff for these music videos and all that. Not for you to do that necessarily in real life, but that's what these women are doing. And so now these kids, these young guys, they're getting this false perception of what beauty really is. There's nothing more attractive than a beautiful black woman with something on her mind.
Right.
And when I say something on her mind, I'm not talking about a wig on her scalp. You know what I mean? And I think we've gotten away from that. I think we need to. It's part of we need to train up our young men and let them know that this is unacceptable. This isn't. That's not the image of beauty. And so that's just my take.
But we got to be very careful with that. Some women actually they need those weaves. I'm thinking about Congressman Presley.
That's different. That's different. That's a medical thing.
Okay, but I mean, and then some, it's just a self-esteem thing. They just don't. Their hair. It's just they don't like their hair. There may be something wrong with their hair. I know older women that they never. That they always wear wigs. Always.
Hey, to each his own. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm just talking from a male's perspective. Like you said, there's women out there that do this stuff for a whole host of reasons, and those reasons I don't want to invalidate them at all. Those reasons are beyond valid. However, that's it from a man's perspective. And granted, an old school dude, I'm just a guy that appreciates realness. And I think I think most men appreciate the truth, and to present yourself as something that you're not. And then Charles's friend, he finds out unfortunately at the altar or after the altar that that you weren't truthful. You didn't come with your best foot forward. You've been lying to me the whole time.
Yeah, you slipped up because you're supposed to see what they look like with makeup and without before you make that choice. And usually you make that choice without first because now you know it's real in the field. Because if you don't, you asked out. And
I wonder, did he test drive the car?
Yeah.
Really, did he test drive the car before he got married? I mean, hell, she should have stayed a couple nights over the house.
Well, you would think so, but hey, I don't know.
Hey man, he should have did something because I'm gonna tell you right now, the saving grace for me was Essence magazine. I used to look at my mother's Essence magazine, and it helped me focus on self-image of the man and the woman. So it helped me one day when I met a young lady at the club, and we was doing our thing, whatever, and we decided to get together. After a couple of days of getting to know each other. And when she came over, she was looking all good and everything, but when it was time for the percolator, she took her wig off. So I didn't get upset. But I didn't get upset. What I did, I just grabbed some hair oil and a comb, and I sat it down between my legs, and I just greased her scalp, and I was talking to her. And I massaged, and we made a connection right there because I started doing her hair. and I made a couple of parts. I spelled my name a couple of times in it. But what I'm saying is
Wow.
that it brought us closer together. And it made it more memorable. You know what I mean?
Bro, you are out
So
of
I'm just
control,
saying,
man.
it's
Yeah.
all. Hey man, I'm saying it's all about how you approach it. That's all I'm saying.
And look,
Steph,
and
what do you
look
think?
based,
Oh,
based, based,
wait.
based on Mike's comments, I think the next episode should be therapy.
Hey, but I know a cat that his rule was his first date with a chick, he take her swimming because once you get,
Oh,
and once your face gets wet, and your hair gets wet, the truth is revealed. And I
that
mean,
may. I think
They ain't
that was
getting
a
in
good
no
idea.
pool. They
Yeah,
ain't getting in no
and look, I was
pool.
about to
Man,
say,
I don't
look,
know
he
too
didn't
many
get.
people going for that.
I was gonna say he
yeah,
didn't
but
date
that's it.
black women.
Oh no, he took black women.
No, no, sir. Not even
Man,
taking the swimming,
Oh
not getting
yeah.
their hair
Oh,
wet. No, sir.
they get,
Especially
Hey,
not on the first date.
now they ain't messing with the chlorine stuff. They ain't messing with the chlorine.
No, sir.
well, I,
No,
I
sir.
I I don't disagree, but if maybe he says, "Hey, look, I'll get you dolled up after it, but we're going to swim it." No, he did serious. I believe this guy
Wow.
more. Yeah, I believe this
He's
guy.
still single. Right? He's still single.
No, he's married man.
Oh no, he's
Married
single.
man. Oh no,
He,
he's
he,
married
he
man.
thinks he's married. He thinks he's married.
Oh no, he's married man. Yep, known him for
What, what,
known
do
him
you,
for
what do you
10
think?
years.
What do you think about that, Wayne? What Chuck had to say?
I've said so much.
yeah. Which time?
Yeah.
Um, I think that I agree with what Chuck's saying about people wanting. I know for myself, we want someone who's real. You
Right,
have these. One of the things that women always have a challenge with or always want to talk about is, being honest, being real, being truthful, right? And they want a dude that's gonna be honest, truthful, whatever. But you start off with a lie because you don't even really look like that,
Hmm.
right? So you're attracted to something that's not even really real as a dude,
right,
and now you're saying, but I gotta be real.
right.
Right. So I mean, I think it's true. Society puts these things out there and people try to follow it. And sometimes, it's not good, right? And again, we in our 50s, right? So we've already gone through some of these different changes and things like that. But I mean, these young cats out there, these 20, 30-year olds, this might be what they're looking for
Right.
because when I see those eyelashes, I'll be like, yo, that look crazy to
Yeah.
me.
Hmm.
But they keep doing it, so somebody must be telling them it look right.
Right. Well, let me ask you
Yeah.
this.
And so
Let me
men
ask
do
you
it.
this. Being that you're the single one in the crew. When you do decide,
Designated single.
well, for right now, eligible. He's eligible out there. Ladies, throw it out there. Um, would you ask a young lady if she come in and she's tight, everything looks all good? Would during a conversation say your hair is beautiful? Is that your hair? I mean, is that offensive? Do you think that's offensive?
I think you got to work up to that. I don't think that's a first date question. You
No.
might catch a jamming.
What?
I don't know, but no, I hear you. I think that for me at this point, I'm trying to ask every question I can.
Right.
But some of those things are obvious. Some of those things are obvious. Some of those things ain't. But I think you get a little bit of put a little time, and you'll find all that out. But it's. But I think when I was younger, and again, this is why I go back to young kids. They don't care about all that. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for something that looks pleasing to the eye, and they go for it.
All right.
Even
What
if it's
about? Hey,
not.
well, what do you guys think about a lady who can't hold their liquor? Is that unattractive? If she can't hold the liquor?
So I'll say something real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's that, especially if you think you're about to have a good night, and then she ends up throwing up, that is not attractive.
Mm, okay. What about you, Charles?
I mean, personally speaking, I don't want my lady getting all liquored up.
Right.
Again, I focus on someone with class who carries himself like a lady.
Right.
And another thing that I look at is how they treat others. I can't stand it, or at least back in the day when I was single, going out with a young lady and she's not treating the wait staff well. You know what I mean? She's
Right.
coming down hard on the waitress and acting all crazy. I mean, it's about how they treat others, how they interact with obviously with me as the other individual, but again, everyone that they come into contact with.
Right.
So it's just about, having that level of class. And the other thing that I look at, Mike, is again, self-care,
Right.
because a lot of times people do things to attract people, and then once they get them, they
Right.
let all those things go.
Right. Right.
So my thing is, just keep it going. If you
Right.
were the type to go to the gym, prior to settling down and getting married, continue to keep
Right.
yourself up,
Right.
man.
Right.
Because there's nothing worse than getting into a relationship. Now all of a sudden you comfortable, you letting your guard down, and all of a sudden
Mhm.
things are changing, because it
You're right.
feels like it feels like bait and switch.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
that's not what
Listen,
anybody wants. And that's not only for, men in terms of what we want for women. I'm
it's for
sure
women too.
it exactly, it works on
Yeah.
the opposite end as well.
Wayne, you want to jump in on that, brother? What do you think about people changing direction once they get married or something, get comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with Charles. I think you know what got you there should keep you there, right? And so if you was already doing that, you should continue. You should continue that. There's always a reason why. There's always a reason why they don't. Why someone wouldn't, whether it's a man or a
Right.
female, why they don't. Whether there's some injuries, there's children, whatever the reason is. But that does change the dynamic a little bit, right? Because you're doing something different than you did to get that person originally.
All right. Well, listen, we're getting close to end of our time, but I just want to ask you guys a quick question. I was looking on the internet. I'm looking at different questions about different things, and I was looking at what makes a man emotionally attractive to a woman, because we were talking about what's unattractive, and I was looking at what makes us emotionally attractive. And you guys comment. Let me know what stands out to you the most that would pull you to be attracted to a woman. Number one would be inspire confidence. Number two, give him space. Number three, connect with him intimately. Intimately. That means percolating. Engage in his interests. Get along with his friends. Show him that you need him. And last but not least, appreciate him. Do you guys agree that the things that get put on that list would attract you to a woman?
Absolutely.
What do you think about that, Steph? Which one pulls to you?
I think I think for at least for me, if you can meet me in the middle, and every day you can make me laugh, something. It doesn't
Right.
have to be anything serious, but you inspire me,
Okay.
and get and you have my back.
Right.
Those are the things that make me attracted to a woman.
Okay, we're gonna go on to Charles. So Chuck's having technical difficulty. Charles, what stood out to you in regards to what attracted you to a woman? Did
I
some of
think a
those
number
things?
of those things, a number of them did. The confidence piece, the space, the intimacy, getting along with friends. I mean, all that to me spells helpmate, because
Right.
that's what you want. You want an individual that complements you. It's not a lot of, you know, difficult conversations. You don't want to have a bunch, you don't want to have a contentious relationship. So to the extent that you have that individual that can support you in all these different ways, to me, that has the makings of a great relationship. It really does.
Okay. What about you, Wayne? What stood out to you, or what do you think?
Well, I think Chuck is back. He could go if he'd
Oh,
like.
Chuck, go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. To me, it is a commonality. You talk about like my wife and I, we just, I don't know how to explain it, man. We just have that chemistry, and maybe that's the best word, chemistry. Um, so that's it for me, man. Stefan pretty much hit it on the head for me, man. I was on board with what he said, so I'm straight.
Okay. All right. Well, anybody want to add anything? Because I know we're all over the place with the attractive and unattractive things, and we see this to this day.
Well, I'll go on that last question that you asked
Yeah.
about the list that you off, and I think all those items on there are good, and they all carry a lot of weight. And I think the bottom line is that a dude, again, trying to find somebody who's attractive, has to feel that they a team, right? That Bonnie Clyde kind of thing. Someone that, like Charles said, got your back and you got their back. So it's just that there's going to be challenges, but you know that you together going through that you don't have to do that by yourself. So I think it's really easy to find attractive things in women. And I know this whole show is about unattractive things, but it does exist, right? And I think that you just get dialed up. That doesn't make you attractive all the time. Is that kind of what we were talking about here? But women, there's a lot that they do that make them attractive every day.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate y'all. And this brings us to the end of our segment. But I just want to let folks know that we're out here talking ish. This is for entertainment purposes only. We all have our own views and opinions. Um, and I just want to say that if you do have a recommendation, a comment, please feel free, because that's what we do. We want to invoke conversation. We want to invoke communication with everybody, not just females, males. They might want to add something in that we probably missed. But I just want to thank everybody for listening to JBAM 2020. And you can find us on our podcast on your favorite social media outlet, whether it's IG, Facebook, Spreaker.com, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, and Google Play. And I just want to say thank you to my panel. Thank you to everybody listening, and deuces.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Just Be a Man podcast. Be sure to check us out on social media at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, where you can follow, like, subscribe, and comment at Just Be a Man 2020. We will love to receive your feedback. Also, if there is a topic you would like us to discuss, please leave your suggestion in the comments. Remember to tune in next Wednesday for more meaningful discussion. Until then, we wish you peace and blessings.